SmackDown opened this week in truly chaotic fashion, setting the tone for WrestlePalooza 2025. When the show went live, Michael Cole revealed he had a backstage interview lined up with Brock Lesnar. Cole took off his headset and headed backstage, but halfway down the ramp, Lesnar seemingly changed his mind. Upon reaching Cole, he lifted him up and carried him toward the ring, appearing ready to assault him until Corey Graves stepped in, pleading for Lesnar to stop and allow his colleague to do his job. Lesnar's fury quickly shifted to Graves. He lifted Graves and delivered a devastating F5. The chaos spilled outside the ring, with Lesnar throwing the Prime sponsorship stand and steel steps. Referees tried to intervene, but their pleas only fueled his rage, leading him back into the ring for another F5 on Graves. After manhandling both Cole and Graves, Lesnar paced the ring as the Toledo crowd watched in stunned silence. Grabbing a ringside camera, he pressed it to his face and screamed, "John, I'm coming for you. It's D-Day tomorrow, and I'm coming for blood." Just when it seemed the chaos had reached its peak, Lesnar stormed backstage, and that's when the scene took an even bigger turn. He came face to face with the Vision's Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. In a brief but telling moment, Lesnar patted his former advocate Heyman on the shoulder and cryptically remarked that the two should talk before walking off silently, leaving the backstage area. The big question remains, will Brock Lesnar align himself with the Vision? After the John Cena feud concludes, what's next for Lesnar? One possibility is an alliance with Paul Heyman and the Vision. If that direction eventually leads to a showdown between Lesnar and Braun Breaker, it could be an intriguing matchup for fans to anticipate. The Vision is expected to have a major presence at WrestlePalooza, with 2 tag team matches already planned for the faction. Despite the explosive opening, fans expressed disappointment that Brock Lesnar and John Cena did not have a proper face-to-face confrontation ahead of the premium live event, something we reported over a month ago. What do you think? Does this chaotic SmackDown opening make Lesnar feel unstoppable heading into WrestlePalooza? Or should WWE have built a proper Cena-Lesnar confrontation first? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. After the chaotic opening of WWE SmackDown tonight, Nick Aldis ran into Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed backstage. Aldis made it clear that he didn't want any trouble from the faction, but Heyman reassured the SmackDown GM that they were simply there to enjoy the show. Moments later, Reed and Breaker stormed the ring and launched a vicious attack on Fraxium. Heyman grabbed a microphone, drawing a comparison between Fraxium and the Usos, noting that both have been victimized in similar ways. As Heyman continued speaking, Nathan Frazier and Axiom recovered and turned the tables, launching an attack on the Vision. Seeing an opportunity to formalize the chaos, Nick Aldis came out and booked a tag team match between the two sides. From there, the match quickly became a showcase for Reed and Breaker's dominance. Despite Fraxium's best efforts, they struggled to mount any sustained offense. Short bursts of resistance were swallowed by the overwhelming power of the Vision, with Reed eventually securing the pinfall using a tsunami. While the match was brief and lacked any major surprises, it served its purpose. Reed and Breaker were portrayed as unstoppable forces, cementing their status as monsters in the SmackDown Tag Division. Adding another layer to the storyline, the Usos appeared on the big screen to taunt Breaker and Reed, further intensifying the feud heading into WrestlePalooza. Trouble brewed tonight for the Street Profits as the Wyatt Six storyline continued to highlight growing tension within the team. Bo Dallas stirred the pot once again, telling Angelo Dawkins that his partner wasn't interested in hearing what he had to say. His words struck a nerve as Montez Ford remained entirely focused on reaching out to Nick Aldis and securing an opportunity at the tag team titles. Ford's frustration was clear, but Angelo Dawkins' expression told a different story, hinting at possible ambitions to go solo. The tension escalated further when Eric Rowan arrived and attacked the Street Profits with his mallet, an impactful moment even if it wasn't fully shown. Bo Dallas and Rowan then stood tall, asserting their dominance. Later, Dallas confronted Montez Ford, explaining that he was there to guide lost souls and help them find the right path. This approach seemed at odds with the original Wyatt Six philosophy, which was centered on uniting friendships and staying true to one's allies. Now the narrative appears to be pushing Ford and Dawkins toward potential separation, creating a fresh dynamic within the team. Despite all the chaos, the segment successfully layered intrigue and tension into the ongoing storyline. Between the attack, the philosophical guidance, and the hints of internal conflict, there was a lot for viewers to unpack tonight on SmackDown. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Tony Khan's name often finds its way into WWE conversations among fans, but a recent rumor about him being mocked internally has now been firmly denied by those within the company. Several outlets reported yesterday that WWE's creative team, led by Triple H, casually refers to the AEW president as Snowman during backstage discussions. The nickname quickly gained traction online, largely due to its implications and the timing, with AEW's All Out and WWE's WrestlePalooza both looming on the calendar. However, Ringside News has since confirmed that the claim doesn't hold up. According to their report, no one in the WWE higher-up has ever used that term, and most in the company are far too focused on business to waste time keeping tabs on AEW. Fightful Select backed up that denial, adding further weight to the pushback. A number of WWE staff and even a higher-up reached out to say that they've never heard Tony Khan called Snowman internally at the company, contrary to reports. While fan speculation often fuels the idea of a behind-the-scenes war between WWE and AEW, this particular story appears to be more fiction than fact. Inside WWE, the priority remains building on their own momentum, not trading coded insults with their competition. Raja Jackson, the 25-year-old son of UFC legend Quentin Rampage Jackson, has found himself in serious legal trouble after a violent incident at a Los Angeles wrestling event ended with his arrest on felony charges. TMZ released video footage of the arrest, showing Raja being escorted out of an apartment complex by two police officers. He walked calmly down an outdoor staircase before briefly turning to look toward the camera, appearing to notice he was being filmed by a nearby resident. According to reports, Raja was booked on a felony charge of battery with serious bodily injury. He was held on $50,000 bond before bonding out later the same day. Just hours after Raja's release, Rampage addressed the situation during a Kick live stream. The UFC legend didn't hold back, admitting his son f***ed up and now has to take responsibility. He went on to stress that Raja needed the reality check, even saying some time behind bars may be necessary for him to truly learn from his mistakes. With footage of both the beatdown and the arrest now circulating online, Raja's legal battle is only beginning. The attention on this case is intensifying, and all eyes will be on how the situation unfolds in the coming weeks. Do you think Raja Jackson's release was fair, or should he have stayed behind bars longer? Share your thoughts in the comments below. A new twist has emerged in the Warner Bros. Discovery saga, one that could carry massive consequences for the wrestling world. Just a week after reports surfaced that Paramount was preparing a cash offer for WBD, Puck News has revealed that Netflix may now be weighing its own bid. Such a move would directly impact All Elite Wrestling's television future. Adding fuel to the speculation, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos was recently spotted in Las Vegas at the Crawford-Alvarez fight alongside Warner Bros. Discovery chief David Zaslav. That public appearance quickly set off industry chatter. As Puck reported, Netflix may be considering a bid, a possibility that could reshape the media landscape in ways no one saw coming. If Netflix were to acquire Warner Bros. Discovery, it would instantly gain control of major assets like TNT, TBS, and the streaming platform Max. That's where AEW enters the picture. Since its launch, AEW programming has been anchored on TNT and TBS, and more recently tied into Max. But with new ownership, its place could suddenly become uncertain depending on how Netflix views live wrestling within its broader content model. For Tony Khan's promotion, this potential deal represents one of the biggest crossroads yet. If Netflix embraces AEW as part of its vision, the company could secure long-term stability under a global streaming giant. If not, Khan may be forced to explore alternative broadcast partners at a critical moment in AEW's growth. SmackDown saw Nia Jax come to the ring to deliver a promo mocking the entire women's division, boldly declaring herself the alpha female. Tiffany Stratton quickly responded, firing back that everyone is tired of Jax running her mouth and pretending to run the division. The tension escalated further when Jade Cargill stormed out, attacking a few officials in her path before being held back from confronting Jax directly. The segment concluded with Nick Aldis appearing to officially announce that the three women would face off in a triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship next week. While the segment was somewhat paint by numbers, it did give fans a glimpse of Cargill's intensity and set the stage for what promises to be a hard-hitting showdown. This announcement comes after Stratton was pulled from the triple threat on Tuesday's NXT Homecoming. She wasn't cleared to compete following her SmackDown title defense against Cargill, but sources from PW Insider Elite confirm she is not injured and is currently following WWE's concussion protocol. The decision to move the match from WrestlePalooza to next week's SmackDown appears to be a timing issue. WWE executives, including Triple H and Bruce Pritchard, felt that having 6 matches on the WrestlePalooza card would leave insufficient time for each bout. With 5 matches currently scheduled, the only women's contest remaining is Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky for the vacant Women's World Championship. With the triple threat now locked in for SmackDown, fans can expect a focused, high-intensity clash between 3 of WWE's most dominant women. Who do you think will walk out as champion next week? Stratton, Cargill, or Jax? Let us know your predictions in the comments. Sami Zayn continued his defense of the United States Championship this week when he put the title on the line against Carmelo Hayes, who had an excited Miz on commentary to cheer him on. To nobody's surprise, Melo and Zayn put on a great show. They're both known for their ability to have exciting performances, so putting them together was practically a guaranteed recipe for a good match. After a clean, hard-fought battle, Zayn retained the title with a Blue Thunder Bomb. Surprisingly, The Miz did not try to get involved at all. Carmelo's loss marks Zayn's third successful United States title defense, with Hayes joining opponents such as Rey Fenix and John Cena in Zayn's impressive repertoire of defeated US title challengers. Gunther's absence from WWE television is finally coming to an end. The former World Heavyweight Champion has been away since late September, leaving fans to speculate on his future. Now an update is surfaced on when he'll be back. According to PW Torch, Gunther is expected to return next month and will be slotted into a major feud upon his comeback. The news comes as a relief to fans who have been waiting to see what direction WWE would take with him after his recent setback. Gunther has not appeared since his high-profile loss to CM Punk at SummerSlam 2025. That match triggered a chaotic title shift, with Punk briefly winning the championship before Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank contract the same night. Since then, Gunther's silence and extended absence from television fueled speculation about whether WWE had long-term creative plans lined up for him. With his return now on the horizon, the focus shifts to how WWE reintroduces one of its most dominant stars. Are you ready to see Gunther back in WWE? And what should his first move be when he steps back into the spotlight? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Andrade's WWE release stunned fans, with early reports suggesting the decision stemmed from backstage disciplinary issues. It was said that Andrade had left the country without informing WWE officials and then refused to return their calls, a move that allegedly sealed his fate. However, new information has surfaced that complicates that story. Rumors began circulating yesterday within the internet wrestling community, pointing to a different source of tension. According to these discussions, WWE executives had grown frustrated with Andrade's lack of progress in learning English, believing it hurt his ability to connect with the wider audience. But now that angle is being challenged. Fightful Select has reported that sources close to the situation never mentioned Andrade's English as a factor in his release, directly pushing back on this claim. Fightful made it clear that this reasoning was never brought up in their conversations with people familiar with the matter. In the end, tying Andrade's WWE exit to his English skills feels more like speculation than fact. Andrade, on the other hand, is wasting no time making his return to the ring. Just days after officially confirming his departure, the former WWE superstar has already announced his first post-WWE appearance, and it's set for his home country of Mexico. He's scheduled to compete for the Crash Lucha Libre on October 3rd in the Municipal Auditorium Fausto Gutierrez Moreno in Tijuana. This marks Andrade's first match since WWE SummerSlam, where he last appeared teaming with Rey Fenix at a six-pack TLC match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Fans will now get their first glimpse of what he brings outside of WWE, and expectations are already high for his in-ring comeback. Back to SmackDown, as the first match of the night saw Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss battle Chelsea Green and Alba Fire for the women's tag team titles. Flair and Bliss were making the third defense of those titles, having captured them from the Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez at SummerSlam, and since having bested the former champions in a rematch on Raw, and the Cullings, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley on NXT. This time, it was Green and Fire looking to step up to the plate, with Green a former champion alongside Piper Niven. This was a decent match with some fun moments, but the ending was pretty predictable. Flair and Bliss retained, but Fire and Green put up a good fight. It wouldn't be the worst thing for them to be the ones to dethrone the champs eventually. Fire was dealt a bad hand after Isla Dawn was released, but it's been great to see how she's thrown herself into this version of her character. Damian Priest made a violent statement backstage tonight, throwing Kit Wilson through the solid steel paper wall. Pretty Deadly hasn't been seen in action for some time, reportedly due to Elton Prince being injured. Priest, clearly frustrated after the events involving Aleister Black, unleashed his anger on Wilson, smashing him through the wall in a striking display of intensity. A vignette aired tonight for Solo Sikoa in which he praised his loyal ally Tonga Loa, acknowledging that he had let him down. Sikoa noted that Tonga had brought gold to the family before, and now he owes it to him to do so again. Could this hint at Solo and Tonga pursuing the tag team titles together? It's possible. The segment also reinforced Tonga's heritage as the son of Haku, a detail that adds depth and opens opportunities for compelling character work in future storylines. Back to SmackDown, as after an extensive video package hyping Cena and Lesnar and a series of filler segments, SmackDown closed with a contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Rhodes opened up by reminding McIntyre that they had won the tag team titles together 15 years ago on this very date, a milestone largely forgotten because, in his words, the world doesn't revolve around them. McIntyre, ever so focused on the present, replied that all he wanted was a legitimate shot at the title with no interference, trusting that Rhodes, as a company man, would make that possible. The tone quickly shifted when McIntyre launched an attack on Rhodes. He seemed poised to send Rhodes through the announce table once again, but then stopped mid-action, declaring that instead of physical destruction, he intended to take away what matters most to Rhodes. Despite the dramatic setup, the segment felt relatively tame, with even the live crowd showing minimal reaction. The show went off the air with McIntyre delivering a thunderous big boot followed by a vicious stomp to Rhodes' head, leaving fans with a clear message: the Scottish Warrior is coming for everything Rhodes holds dear. Did the history between Rhodes and McIntyre add weight to the segment, or did it feel too tame to make an impact? Share your thoughts in the comments. Paul Heyman's return to WWE screens this week came with high expectations given the fallout from recent events and his complicated history with Roman Reigns and The Vision. His absence had forced The Vision to operate as two separate entities on Raw, with two unrelated contests planned for WrestlePalooza. Considering the history and drama, a more impactful return, whether through a surprise promo or by hijacking the show alongside his allies, would have resonated far more. Instead, Heyman appeared as if he had missed only a single week of programming, lacking the intensity and urgency that the situation demanded. Unfortunately, this sense of underwhelming booking extended throughout SmackDown. Wrestling shows like Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Collision, and TNA are meant to balance in-ring action, backstage segments, and promos, and most of the time they hit the mark. This week, however, SmackDown packed 3 matches into 2 hours: Flair and Bliss over Green and Fire, Reed and Breakker dominating Fraxium, and Sami Zayn defending the US title against Carmelo Hayes. The rest of the show leaned heavily on filler. Backstage segments with the Street Profits, Priest in Aldis' office, 2 ESPN app tie-ins, the WWE Women's title segment, and the main event contract signing all made the pacing feel rushed and uneven, especially coming on the heels of Lesnar's explosive opening attack. The result was a program that struggled to give each segment the attention it deserved, leaving key moments feeling muted despite their potential impact. What did you think of this go-home SmackDown? Did the show deliver the right balance of action and storytelling, or did the rushed matches and filler segments leave it feeling underwhelming? Share your thoughts in the comments.